use one of these. It's a hand drying machine. The hot, moving air from the machine dries the water from my wet hands. And that's what the programme's all about today, wetness and dryness, and how we measure it fairly.
It's important to know if pot plants are getting enough water. The soil in this plant looks all right, and it feels wet enough, but this one looks very dry to me. The soil is a light colour, and it's very crumbly. It definitely needs watering. So you can tell by looking at something whether it's wet or dry.
One way to find out if washing is dry is to feel it. My mother used to check it against her cheek. That's okay.
The children from St Aidan's School in Wishaw in Strathclyde have been using their eyes to find out what helps cloths dry quickly. The group took 2 pieces of cloth and made a wet patch in the middle of each one. Then they hung them up on their classroom line. They needed something to fan one of them, but they left the other one just hanging. As the darker wet spot dried out, it became lighter in colour. It took 10 minutes. The unflapped cloth still had its dark wet patch. Another group put their cloth on a radiator and watched it dry out. It took 1 minute. A third group decided to measure the amount of water. They poured 50 cc's of water into a bowl and soaked a cloth in it. Then they wrung it out as dry as they could. They measured the water left in the bowl, 45 cc's, so there were 5 cc's of water in the cloth.
A wee bit hard there. It's still wet.
This time it took 20 minutes flapping to dry the cloth. The last group folded a wet cloth and put it on a radiator beside an unfolded wet cloth. The folded one took 5 times as long to dry. There are ways of detecting wetness and dryness which are much more accurate than just by looking or feeling. This paper is one example. It's blue now, but if I wet my fingers, put it on the paper, it turns pink. The colour shows whether it's wet or dry. It's a quick way of detecting moistness. It also detects moisture in the air.
One problem with plants is that you can't tell how wet the soil is deep down by the roots. And that's where we have to make sure that there is enough water. This moisture meter can tell us what it's like down there. Here, the needle is on the dry side. But when I put it into the soil, the needle swings to moist. And that tells me that the soil around the roots of this plant is wet enough.
If you make machines to dry clothes, you have to be sure that they do their job properly. And to do that, you need to be able to measure when clothes really are dry. And Malcolm's been finding out how it's done.
I'm at a tumble dryer manufacturer's, David, and we've set the machine up in the test area. A tumble dryers dry clothes by spinning them round and blowing hot air at them. And what the manufacturers needed to find out was, does the machine work better at a low speed, a medium speed, or a high speed? To do this, David, they had to find an accurate way to measure when the clothes are dry. This is what they do. They lift the empty dryer onto a weighing machine, which has been specially adjusted so that when there are no clothes in the machine, the scale reads 0. Now the dryer is filled with dry clothes. It's still on the weighing machine, remember? The dry clothes weigh 2 kilograms. All the dry clothes are taken out to be washed, leaving the dryer empty again. When the clothes have been washed, they can check their wet weight again using the weighing machine. That's 4 kilograms. So the wet clothes contain 2 kilograms of water to be dried out. First, we test the low speed. Notice how the clothes form a bundle at this low speed. Each minute, the weight of the clothes is recorded so that they can tell how long it takes for the clothes to return to 2 kilograms, which is their dry weight. It took 30 minutes. This is an identical load of wet clothes weighing 4 kilograms. But now the dryer is set at the medium speed. This time the clothes are not bunching together, they're tumbling freely. And after only 20 minutes, the clothes are back to their dry weight of 2 kilograms. This is the third load of wet clothes. And this time the dryer is set to the high speed. You can hardly see the clothes tumbling at all. They're sticking to the sides. At this speed, they took 28 minutes to lose 2 kilograms of water. So the medium speed dried the clothes quickest, David?
Oh, I see. I would have guessed, Malcolm, that the high speed would have worked best. Can you explain why it doesn't?
Well, David, at the low speed, the clothes tend to stick together at the bottom of the dryer in a bundle, so the air can't get through them to dry them properly. But at the medium speed, they're lifted up and the air can get through them and dry them quickly. And at the high speed, they tend to get pulled to the side of the drum and they stick to the sides, and again, the air can't get through them. So that's the reason the manufacturers have decided to fit the medium speed in their tumble dryers.
Thank you, Malcolm. When you're doing a test, you have to be sure that everything is absolutely fair. Now, there are lots of small hairdryers on the market, but how well do they dry your hair? You need a fair test to find out. Beverley's at the British Standards Laboratory in Surrey, where they've devised a perfectly fair way of finding out.
Yes, David, this was one of the small hairdryers that they tested. Each dryer was tested on an identical wig of hair. That's one important way to make the test fair. Each dry wig is weighed, and the scale is adjusted for that weight of wig to read 0. A fine sprayer is used to spray water carefully and evenly over the back of the wig. That's 6 grams of water on that wig. And the same amount on the other 2 wigs, again to make it fair. The dryers are clamped in position behind the wet wigs. Each dryer nozzle has to be exactly the same distance from its wig. That's 10 centimetres for the white dryer. Exactly the same for the orange dryer. And a little adjustment on the red dryer to make 10 centimetres too. All the dryers are connected to a timer. This is set to run for 3 minutes, and when the timer is switched on, the dryers start too. Remember, each dryer is set to dry identical hair for exactly the same time, so it's a fair test. Time's up. Let's see how much water is left in each wig. Wig A has just over 5 grams of water, so it's lost nearly 1 gram. Wig B has just over 4 grams, so it's lost nearly 2 grams of water. Wig C, that has just over 3 grams of water, so it's lost the most. The red dryer has removed nearly half the water. So, David, in our fair test on the 3 dryers, this hairdryer turned out best at drying your hair.
Thank you, Beverley. Weighing things before and after a test is an idea that you can use for solving other problems. I've got a problem. Shriveled up sandwiches. Now, bread dries up very quickly, especially when it's left all day in a hot studio. So, we thought we'd devise a test to find out what was the best way of wrapping sandwiches to keep them moist. Yesterday, I wrapped 3 identical sandwiches. I wrapped 1 in aluminium foil, 1 in cling film, and 1 in a paper bag. Now, to make sure the test was absolutely fair, I used identical slices of bread, I used the same amount of filling in each one, and I weighed the sandwiches before I wrapped them up. And they each weighed 75 grams. Now, after a day, let's see what's happened to them. This is the one that was wrapped in the aluminium foil. Let's see what that weighs. 75 grams. Now the one in the cling film. That weighs 75 grams. And the last one, the sandwich in the paper bag. And that weighs just over 60 grams. So, the sandwich in the paper bag was the only one to lose weight. You can see it's curling at the edges. So the result of our fair test was that if you want your sandwiches to stay moist, wrap them in aluminium foil or cling film. Don't use a paper bag. The children at St Aidan's School talked about their test. Had they been really fair? This is what they had to say.
You use 2 pieces of cloth and you've got to make sure they're the same size and the same material, because if they weren't the same size and the same material, it wouldn't be a fair test.
We got a sponge and tried to get an equal amount of dampness, and we put the same amount of pressure on each one, and that made it sort of a fair test, because it wasn't exactly a fair test, but it made it better than all the others.
It's unfair to use a sponge because if you press too hard on one piece of cloth, more water would come out, and if you didn't press so hard on the other, less water would come out.
I think the sponge has a fair test because the person who uses the sponge uses the same pressure in each of them, and the same amount of water goes onto the cloth.
The sponge isn't a fair test because you could use more pressure. If you squeezed it too hard on the first one, there might not be enough left for the second one.
If you want to find a fair test, you need to measure the amount of water that you're putting onto the cloth.
It's better measuring it out than doing it like the sponge, because then you know that it's the same amount of water.
Talking about your work is very important. When you try the tests in the Science Workshop book, see if you can think of ways of making them even fairer. You know, these sandwiches are making me a bit hungry. Fancy a sandwich, Beverley? You try the one in the foil.
That looks nice and moist.
I'll have this one that was wrapped in the cling film.
Excuse me.
Oh! Malcolm, you have the one in the paper bag, hey? It's nice.
Look,
It's a bit hard, isn't it? I can't eat that.
Just imagine that it's toasted.
How's it toasted?